Archangel Michael says, "Someone who is a snake in your family has finally been caught. Here is the name. Open it immediately. You have 15 seconds. They smiled in your face and betrayed you, my beloved child. Before you open what I am about to show you, breathe, because once you see what has been hidden from you, you can never unsee it again." The veil is being lifted. The betrayal was real. The mask has fallen, and the truth has a name. You were never meant to carry this confusion alone. Heaven watched. I stood beside you when your heart felt something was off, but your spirit couldn't name it. You felt love from them, but underneath there was something that stung. Now I will reveal why. But before I do, hear this. Your name was whispered in rooms you never entered. Your blessings were spoken against. The ones who claimed to be your blood tried to poison the roots of your divine tree. They used smiles to cover serpents. They used hugs to bind your wings. And now, child, heaven says enough. Dove, subscribe to this message, because this is not the only revelation coming. There are 3 more betrayals I have to expose soon, and you must not miss them. My sword is unsheathed. The light has pierced the shadow. The name is close. The proof is about to surface. But I must warn you, when I reveal the name, you will feel 2 things: shock and deep recognition. Because your spirit always knew, you just didn't want it to be true. But now it's time. You cannot walk into the next season of your miracle with snakes in your garden. This person saw your glow. They envied what heaven placed on you. So they tried to curse what God has crowned. But no more. I have held this revelation until now because you weren't ready before. Your heart needed to be stronger. Your light needed to rise, and now it has. So now I ask you this. Are you ready for the name? Because once I say it, the lies will break. The spell will shatter, and the truth will ring in your soul like thunder from heaven. My child, this is your awakening moment. Don't scroll. Don't look away. Look closer. Because the person you trusted most has already betrayed you once, and I will show you how. But first, I must prepare your spirit for the shock. You thought you were crazy. You thought you were imagining things. You told yourself you were being dramatic. But your spirit wasn't lying. Your intuition was my whisper. I was warning you, and now you will see how right you were. They smiled at your wins, but their heart cursed your elevation. They offered support while secretly stabbing your name with silent jealousy. This is the spiritual betrayal I must uncover. And child, this is only part 1. Dove, subscribe to receive what I reveal next. Because after this name, there are still 2 others plotting in your circle. But today, we name the first. They watched you struggle and said nothing. They saw your tears and walked away. They told others they were protecting you, but in private, they were rooting for your fall. They told someone, "I hope it doesn't work out for them. They think they're better than us now." Yes, child. That sentence was said about you, and I heard it. I was in the room where they said it. I stood between you and the spiritual backlash that was forming. I blocked the curses. I scattered the spells, but now it's time for you to know what they did. So, are you ready? Because the next word I say will unlock a chain of events that cannot be reversed. You are not reading this by mistake. You were divinely led to this moment because they've been found out. And heaven is giving you 15 seconds to spiritually break the tie before they try to re-enter your life with lies again. Breathe. Center. Stay with me. The name is near. The moment is now. This is only the first veil I'm about to tear open. You felt it before, haven't you? That strange silence in the room when you spoke about your dreams? That look in their eyes too quick to hide when you shared your blessing? A strange shift in their tone. A pause. A moment that didn't make sense at the time. But now it all adds up. Because the one who prayed with you was also praying against you. They smiled at your progress, but clenched their jaw behind closed doors. They said, "We're family." But behind your back, they said, "They don't deserve that life." And now, their words have returned to them because heaven never lets darkness hide forever. You were always meant to shine, but they tried to smother your light with spiritual ash. You were always meant to rise, but they wanted you stuck where they were comfortable. They whispered your flaws. They exaggerated your mistakes. They painted you as arrogant. All because you finally stopped begging for crumbs. But I was there. I saw it every moment. You gave them grace while they sharpened the knife. I saw how you protected their name while they destroyed yours behind your back. But no more. You've entered a divine courtroom now. And I, Archangel Michael, am standing at the gate. The verdict is here. The snake has been caught. And child, listen carefully. This person was not just any stranger. This person was once held in your heart. You laughed with them. You cried with them. You defended them when others warned you. And they used your loyalty as a weapon. But do not blame yourself. Even the strongest souls are fooled by clever serpents. Even the most divine hearts are preyed on by poisoned smiles. But now that spell is broken. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to free you. Free you from the guilt of loving the wrong one. Free you from the cycle of betrayal and self-blame. Free you from repeating patterns handed down by bloodlines meant to keep you small. Child, this is bigger than you think. This isn't just about one betrayal. This is ancestral. This is generational. This is the moment where chains break backward and forward in your lineage. The person who betrayed you was repeating a spiritual assignment passed down for decades. They thought you'd fall like the others. They thought you'd keep quiet like your ancestors did, but you didn't. You rose. You questioned. You noticed. And that's when the spiritual alarm was triggered. Heaven said, "This one sees. This one feels. This one is waking up. Give them the truth." So, here you are, reading words that are not just words, but a sacred key unlocking a door you thought was permanently closed. The betrayal didn't just hurt you. It taught you. It activated your discernment. It crowned your spirit with fire. And now you're ready for the name. But let me ask you this. What will you do once it's revealed? Will you pretend again? Will you laugh with them again like nothing happened? Or will you choose yourself this time? Because that's what this test was really about. It wasn't about revenge. It was about recognition. Do you recognize who you are now? You're no longer the one who explains yourself to snakes. You're no longer the one who trades truth for peace. You're no longer the one who silences intuition for temporary love. You're rising now. And that's why they were sent to attack you. You thought it was a coincidence they got close just before your breakthrough. No, they were sent to block it. A spiritual distraction wrapped in familiar flesh. But now the assignment failed because you saw too much, felt too much, and asked the right questions. And so now I show you the name. But first, let me tell you exactly how they betrayed you, Dove. Before you read further, subscribe, because this is part 1 of 3. More is about to come. And if you miss what heaven is revealing next, you may repeat the cycle you just escaped from. Back to what they did. They copied your words and mocked them to others. They said you were too spiritual. They called your prayers dramatic. They laughed at the way you cried to God, all while asking you to pray for them in secret. They used your softness as a tool for their manipulation. They told others, they think they're chosen. It's cute. But child, you are chosen. And now the mocking ends. Here's what else I must reveal. They once blocked a blessing meant for you. They intercepted a message. They delayed a divine connection. They discouraged someone from helping you. They sowed doubt in a place meant to open a door for your next season, and heaven saw it. That's why their own blessings have been drying up. That's why the same doors they shut on you are now slamming in their face. Because God is not mocked, and betrayal of the chosen carries consequences. My beloved, breathe. You are still being protected. The snake was caught before they could cause your full collapse, and now all they built on lies is crumbling without your presence. They underestimated the one thing that no enemy can predict, divine timing, and now the time has come. The name, you want it, don't you? But first, let me make something very clear. The exposure of their identity is not your weapon for revenge. It is your confirmation that you were never crazy, that your heart, broken as it was not wrong to question, that your intuition, unexplainable as it felt, was heaven's alarm clock ringing loud, that your ache, the ache you buried, was never meant to be ignored. You are stepping into a realm now where truth walks with you and deception cannot enter. That's why it had to be revealed this way, not all at once, but in divine waves, so your soul could receive it fully. This message right now is the sound of heaven's trumpet over your life. You are not being warned, you are being delivered. This is the unraveling of a spiritual attack, and you, child, are the one rising from the ashes with fire in your wings. Now, the name? It begins with a letter they tried to hide. You've seen it appear often in your dreams. You've heard it in odd whispers. You felt your stomach twist when they entered the room. You chalked it up to anxiety. But it was your angels tightening your spirit, saying, something is not right. And you were right. Their name will be shown fully, but not here in letters. It will be revealed in your next moment of silence, that pause after you finish reading this. That moment when a name floods into your mind before you can control it. That is the one. Heaven is using your own spirit as the final proof. Because the truth must rise not just from my voice, but from your knowing. Child, close your eyes. Take a breath and listen. The first name that comes, the one you've been pushing away, that's them. And now the choice is yours. Do you confront? Do you cut off? Do you pray over it? Or do you pretend again? I cannot choose for you, but I will walk with you. No matter which door you open, you are not being warned. You are being delivered. This is the unraveling of a spiritual attack. And you, child, are the one rising from the ashes with fire in your wings. Now, the name, it begins with the letter they tried to hide. You've seen it appear often in your dreams. You've heard it in odd whispers. You felt your stomach twist when they entered the room. You chalked it up to anxiety. But it was your angels tightening your spirit, saying, something is not right. And you were right. Their name will be shown fully, but not here in letters. It will be revealed in your next moment of silence. That pause after you finish reading this. That moment when a name floods into your mind before you can control it. That is the one. Heaven is using your own spirit as the final proof. Because the truth must rise not just from my voice, but from your knowing. Child, close your eyes. Take a breath and listen. The first name that comes, the one you've been pushing away, that's them. And now the choice is yours. Do you confront? Do you cut off? Do you pray over it? Or do you pretend again? I cannot choose for you, but I will walk with you no matter which door you open, because even in betrayal, you are not alone. Even in heartbreak, you are still chosen. Even in the presence of serpents, you are surrounded by swords of fire. My beloved, you are being crowned in clarity. Your next chapter begins with truth, and I, Archangel Michael, will stand beside you as you walk through it. Dove, subscribe now, because the next message I bring you will expose the second one hiding in plain sight. This betrayal was only the beginning. There are layers, and you are about to see them all. Stay awake, stay armored, stay aligned, because heaven is revealing what was once hidden. And now, it's your time. My beloved, the moment has arrived. You've now seen the sign, felt the stirring in your spirit, and received the confirmation you were too afraid to ask for. You saw the name, you heard it echo, you felt the spiritual sting. And that, child, was not imagination. That was your discernment reactivated. You thought it was gone. You thought maybe you were too sensitive, but no. You were trained through the fire, and now you see with spiritual eyes. The person heaven showed you. They've been hiding behind masks for too long. They laughed with you but cried tears of jealousy when you rose. They pretended to support you, but in silence they plotted. They were in your house. They touched your clothes. They walked through your door with spiritual filth on their tongue. But heaven blocked the worst of it. There were 3 times they tried to curse your path. 3 moments where they called someone to delay your breakthrough. 3 lies they told behind your back that you never even knew happened, because heaven intercepted them. Archangel Michael stood at the gate, and I said, you will not cross. You will not touch what is marked as divine. You are that divine one. You are the chosen, and no snake can bite what I guard with fire. Still, you were meant to see it, not to destroy them, but to complete the lesson. You needed to know who was bleeding your energy. You needed to see why your prayers felt blocked, why some days you woke up tired for no reason, why your dreams were foggy, why every time you shared a blessing, something fell apart after. They were draining you not by power, but by access. You allowed them too close. But child, don't be hard on yourself. It is not weakness to love. It is not failure to trust. It is not shameful to have believed in them. That was your light. That was your soul trying to heal what others ignored. That was your purity, and they tried to turn it against you. But they underestimated your God, because now you are rising. Now your soul is awake, and you will never walk blind again. Let me show you what happens next. Their access is being revoked. The favor they enjoyed while being close to you is being dismantled. Heaven gave them grace because of your presence, but now the covering has shifted. Your departure was their exposure. They may not understand what's changing yet, but they will. They will look around and wonder why things are falling apart. They'll think it's random. They'll blame others. But in their spirit, they will feel it. Heaven has withdrawn because the chosen one has left. That chosen one is you. Now hear me clearly. This message is not about punishment. This is about awakening. You are awakening to your royalty, your inheritance, your clarity, your authority. For too long, you've walked like a servant in a palace meant for your crown. Now you're stepping into divine posture, and with it, a sword. This sword doesn't cut flesh. It cuts lies. It severs soul ties. It slices through illusions and delusion. It reveals truth, raw and holy. And truth, child, is the most dangerous light to anyone still living in shadow. This is why some people will begin to pull away, not because you've changed too much, but because your light exposes their darkness. They will call you distant, cold, proud. Let them. They called Jesus the same, and yet he still rose. So will you. You were betrayed, but not broken. You were laughed at, but not lost. You were slandered, but not silenced. Because when you carry the mark of God, no snakebite can destroy your destiny. Now I must tell you the next part. There's a second name. Yes, a second one has been hiding, watching, studying your patterns, learning how to speak your language. They're not from your immediate family, but they carry familiar bloodlines. A cousin, an in-law, a lifelong friend who became family, someone who says, "I'm always here for you," but only shows up when they need something. Their betrayal is quieter, more strategic. They never strike openly. They operate in passive poison, gossip masked as concern, questions masked as curiosity, checking on you only to collect spiritual data to twist later. And they've been doing this for years. But child, that surveillance ends today. Because I am placing a mirror in your life, you'll begin to see them as they are. You'll feel tired after phone calls with them. You'll feel anxious before meeting them. You'll sense a pull in your stomach when they hug you. That is not confusion. That is discernment, screaming to be heard, and now it will be. Dove.subscribe now, because the next message I release will name the second betrayal in full clarity. You cannot afford to miss it. Your next blessing depends on clean spiritual surroundings, and you are being cleansed now. This is the season of purification. I'm not just revealing snakes. I'm rebuilding your discernment, sharpening your inner hearing, restoring your lost peace, because, child, peace is your birthright. And anyone who brings chaos, guilt, or control is not aligned with your anointed path. It doesn't matter what history says. It doesn't matter what their title is. It doesn't matter who they used to be. The question now is, who are they in your present? Because anyone who disrupts your peace has no place in your future. Now you must choose. Do you hold on out of guilt or release for growth? Heaven will not drag you forward. You must step willingly. I can fight for you, but I cannot force you to let go. If you stay connected to the snake after the truth is revealed, the consequences become yours. I don't say this to scare you. I say this to protect you, because spiritual warfare isn't just about demons. Sometimes it's about decisions, and this one is yours. You don't need their apology. You don't need them to admit it. You don't need one last conversation. You only need one thing now. Obedience to the truth. Close the door. Cut the tie. Reclaim your spirit. Because on the other side of this closure is the greatest breakthrough of your life. You think I'm exaggerating? Watch what happens within 21 days of this release. Doors will open. People will call. Delays will dissolve. Health will improve. Finances will accelerate. Dreams will return because you removed the blockage. The snake wasn't just betraying you. They were spiritually blocking you. And now you are free. Child, I leave you with this final truth. You were never abandoned. You were being protected. You were never rejected. You were being redirected. You were never unloved. You were being prepared for divine-level love. And now the preparation ends. The presentation begins. Step forward. The stage is set. The oil is fresh. The fire is lit. You have passed the test. The snake has been seen. The tie has been cut, and you are rising. Forever marked, forever chosen, forever protected. I am Archangel Michael. I have spoken, and I will war for you as you walk into the prophecy that no snake can stop. Dove, subscribe now, because next I will expose the second name, and this one will shake you. Stay awake. Stay holy. Stay ready. We are not done. My child, you are still here, and that says more than you know. Because even after the heartbreak, after the spiritual sting, after the name was shown and the illusions fell, you did not break. Yes, you cried. Yes, your trust was shaken. Yes, your hands trembled when you realized the snake wore your family's face. But you're still standing. And that, child, is what terrifies the enemy most. that no matter what weapon they formed against you, you didn't fall. You were protected even when you didn't feel protected. You were guarded, even when the betrayal happened inside your home. Because God never left you. He was watching. He was recording. He was preparing your rise, even while they planned your fall. And now they see you rising, glowing, free, unchained. They can feel it. Even if you say nothing, even if you post nothing, they feel it in their spirit. You're not the same. And they're right, you've changed. But not because of them, because of truth. Because of the fire you walked through. Because of the prayers you whispered through the pain. Child, that fire purified you. It didn't burn you. It burned the chains. It burned the illusions. It burned the dependency you didn't even know you had. You see it now, don't you? How much of your light you were shrinking. Just to keep their love. How much of your intuition you silenced just to maintain peace. How many spiritual warnings you ignored just to avoid being too sensitive, but not anymore. The real you is awakening, and that awakening has power. So now I tell you, do not reach back for what God pulled you from. Do not answer the call of those who caused the wound. Do not grieve the disconnection, when it was the connection itself that was suffocating your soul. You are entering a divine season of silence and speed. Silence because heaven is hiding. Your next move. Speed because things will happen fast once. The right people are gone. Watch for it. Watch how the very things you begged for start finding you without resistance. Watch how your health begins to restore. How your creativity comes back. How your finances start flowing. How doors you forgot you knocked on suddenly open, and it won't make sense logically because it's not logic, it's divine. Alignment. God delayed certain blessings because the snake still had access. But now that access is revoked, and so the river flows again. But child, listen closely, because I must speak a harder truth now. There is a second betrayal, and this one is hidden in love. Yes, the second one is not harsh. They are soft, affectionate, gentle even, but it's manipulation dressed in kindness. It's guilt disguised as care. It's control veiled in closeness. This is the person who always says, "But I just want what's best for you. I'm only saying this because I love you. I'm your only real supporter." But they never celebrate you. Not really. They don't share your wins. They don't amplify your voice. They don't pray for your expansion. They pray for your return to comfort, their comfort. They want the version of you that still needs their advice, their approval, their affirmation. But child, you're outgrowing the leash. And they feel it. They feel you pulling away spiritually, even if your body is still in the room. They feel your clarity sharpening, even if your voice hasn't changed, and that's what's scaring them because they know when you fully rise, they will lose their grip. But I'm here to confirm that grip was never holy, that guilt was never sacred, that comfort was never mutual. Was a cage dressed as concern, and now you're seeing it. You'll begin to notice it more this week. They'll call it odd times. They'll bring up old memories. They'll say, "Remember who's always been here for you?" It will sound like love, but your spirit will feel tight. That's your sign. The second snake wears perfume. Not venom, but they're a snake nonetheless. I will show you the name. But first, break the dependency, because this one is feeding off your validation. They appear innocent, but heaven sees every hidden agenda. You don't need their permission to rise. You don't need their blessing to walk forward. You don't owe them your light just because they clapped when you were still dim. And yes, you can love people without letting them lead you. You are not ungrateful. You are just finally awake. Dove. Subscribe now because the third betrayal I reveal is the one you'll never expect, and you must be ready. This is a season of prophetic positioning. God is shifting people, breaking ties, and sending alignment into your circle. Heaven is not being cruel. It is being precise because you're not just being protected, you're being positioned. And that requires silence, stillness, and solitude. You may lose access to some people in this season,